Hey everybody, happy Monday morning. Hope you had a good weekend. It's your time to learn a little bit, but also I think, and we don't use this as often as we should, is this is a great time for you guys to be asking questions, bringing up things that are going well, things that are going poorly, and guys, anything that you talk about here is going to be appreciated by everybody else on the call, so don't be shy. Also, I would appreciate if I could get a volunteer. I haven't asked for a volunteer for a while now, but if I could get a volunteer who I can bounce things back and forth off of as we go through the call, that would be really helpful. So as I go through my pointer, if you'd raise your hand, and if you have a headset or if you're on the phone, let Missy know that you'd be willing to allow me to ask you some questions. Again, they're not hard questions, it's more feedback questions as we go through today's topic. So we'll go ahead and get started. And Missy, let me know if you get some volunteers or if you get questions after I get through the pointer.
Sure will.
Okay. So let's get over here. So right time, right place. The reason I'm saying that is this: is that a lot of guys are saying, well, I don't know what's going on in the marketplace. You know, are things going well? Things going poorly? Well, for people like us, they're going very well. Fixed index annuities sales are up 14% so far this year, 2012, and that was after a record year last year. And VAs are down 8%. So I have a question for you guys: why do you think FIA's sales are up? We've talked about this 2 or 3 times in the last couple of months. Why do you think FIA sales are up? What are people's concerns right now? What are people's beliefs? Do they think the market's going to go up and up and up and up? What are people, especially people who are retired, what are they doing with their money? Putting it in aggressive places or safe places? Putting it in safe places or aggressive places?
Got a few people saying safety, security, safe.
Yeah, that's why fixed index annuities are up and VAs are down. And you know, the funny thing is VAs are down, and what else is happening? So that's less people are putting money into VAs, and what are the VA companies actually doing? They're exiting the marketplace. They don't even want part of it. So guess who else believes the market's probably going to go down? If the VAs, why are the VA companies, and we've had like 5 or 6 companies get out of the VA or income benefit rider marketplace with VAs? Why? Why would they get out? Because they're afraid of what? What? Go ahead.
Consumers believe it will go down.
Yeah, and what do companies believe too? Because if companies believe the market was going to go up, would they be worried about having to cash or pony up for the income benefit riders?
They can't handle the exposure to loss.
Yes.
They lost a fortune doing these before.
Yes, that's exactly right. They can't handle the exposure to loss, and they lost a fortune doing these before. So guess how much confidence they have in the market going up? Because if they were very confident the market going up, they'd have no problem with income benefit riders because they'd never have to pony up for them. So you're at the right place at the right time, and guess where you should be putting the majority of your clients' money. If people believe that, and the companies that know what's going on believe that, that's a lot of pressure on the market to do what? Go up or go down? To go down. So you're at the right place at the right time. Now, what are you going to do when you're at the right place at the right time? Well, you better have a plan if you're in the right place at the right time to capitalize on that, right? So how important are the next 5 months? Well, August is a month, you know, is kind of a down month for a lot of people. They're on vacation, they're not seeing a lot of clients, etc. What should you be doing in August? And I've talked to a lot of guys one-on-one on this in the last couple of months. This is the perfect time to sharpen your axe. You know, we've all heard the story of the guy that or the contest where there were 2 guys that were in a contest to chop down a tree, and how many they could chop down in a day. Well, as soon as that bell rang, one guy ran out there and started chopping, and the other guy sat down and sharpened his axe. Who ended up, you know, so the first guy chopped down 2 or 3 trees before the other guy had even done sharpen his axe, but what ended up happening? The guy with the sharpened axe ends up getting, winning the contest. Why? Because once you're prepared, you can chop down on a lot more trees. Once you're prepared, you can close a lot more deals. So right now, you should be preparing for the fall. And by preparing for the fall, I mean getting your marketing plan in place, and we'll explain why that's so important here in a second, but also making sure you have nailed the first meeting and the second meeting. Making sure you have nailed the first meeting and the second meeting, that you have that down pat. We've talked about this over and over and over again, that people that I've worked with, and Jeff have worked with, and Missy have worked with in the last 10 years, the guys that have made $500,000 or more all were excellent at the first and second meeting. They weren't excellent at marketing. They were excellent at the first and second meeting. That's what's going to make you a ton of money. Your August should be spent becoming perfect at those meetings. Jeff and I are our schedules are wide open if you want to make appointments with us to work on those things with you. We'd love nothing better than to do that with you. So that when you come into September, October, which you should be extremely busy in September, October, you're not trying to figure out how the meetings work. You already know how the meetings work. So any questions on that, guys? What you should be doing in September, October, which is the second most important marketing period of the year. The first is January, February, March, the first 3 months of the year. Why would January, February, March be important marketing-wise? Because something happens mentally to people at the beginning of the year. It's a fresh start. They need to get all their affairs in order. It's when people are open to making decisions. So January, February, March are the 3 most important months of the year, and then September, October are the second most important. Why do you think September, October are important? Any guesses on that? Because even when people are retired, they still view June, July, and August as what? Even when they're retired and have every month off, they still view June, July, and August as what? Vacation months, kick back months, do nothing months, see the family, go on vacations, do whatever. And then when they hit September, October, it's like, okay, back to business. So September, October is the second most important marketing period of the year, and you need to be preparing for that in August in a number of ways, which we'll go over here in a second. Because in November, December, how much business are you going to be doing in November, December? How many marketing pieces are you going to send out in November, December? You'd be crazy to be sending out marketing pieces in November, December. I mean, you could make some money doing that, but you'd make half as much as when you send it out in September, October. So November, December is for cleaning up things, housekeeping, seeing your clients, doing the ancillary marketing, those types of things, but not your primary marketing. Primary marketing should be done January, February, March, and in September and October. We're coming up to those days. Can I wait until September 1st, Jeff, to start my planning?
No, because by the time you get something off the ground and going, it'll be the middle of October.
Which means it's all over, right?
Right.
So, guys, by all over, I mean it's all over. I mean, that means you've locked in no profit for the next 6 months. You need to be hitting it hard in September and October, because if you don't, if you start worrying about it in September, by then you're not going to get anything, because remember, you're not going to be able to start marketing again until January. So that means you've just written off 6 months of your year. That's crazy. Don't do that. So be sharpening your axe in August, getting ready for the September, October, and be ready to hit the ground hard. So how should your marketing be working? Well, you should be at least getting an average of 21 new appointments a month. And you should be closing 9 of those if you've mastered the system. And if you've not mastered the system, you're just adequate. You're just basically the average guy in the street. You should be able to close 4 out of the 21 cases. Or is that out to lunch guys? I mean, I'm talking about what percentage here? About 20% of the cases, right? So if you can't close 20% of the people you're getting in front of, then you're below average. And you should be looking at closing closer to 50% of them.
And
Average
Mike?
ticket size? Yeah, go ahead.
I do have a couple of open lines. We've got Pete
Great.
and Steve are both open. So hopefully they
Steve?
can. Yep, Pete and
Excellent.
Steve.
All
Can you
right.
guys hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah.
Oh. Good. That's perfect. Thank you, guys. The average ticket size should be about $127,000 with an occasional $900,000 ticket. In fact, in the last month, I've talked to 3 different guys that had $900,000 tickets using our system. So when I say average ticket size of $127,000, I'm not talking about that's what you should be getting all the time. You're getting all the client's money. You're going to stumble across those occasional $900,000 tickets. And like I said, do you think those guys, those 3 guys that stumble onto those tickets are sad about that or happy about that? So what is the perfect marketing plan? Pete and Steve. Steve, you've been in the business. You're fairly new to the business on this side of the aisle, anyways. So, Pete, I'm going to ask you this question. Pete, what do you do? What do you tell your clients when they want a 10% return with 100% guaranteed principal?
Good luck.
And then they say, I also like it 100% liquid. And what would you say is wrong with that client?
It's unrealistic.
It's unrealistic. Can you get a 10% return with 100% guaranteed principal and 100% liquidity? I mean, if we could, we'd be in our yachts in the Bahamas right now, right? It's not possible.
Right.
But here's the thing. Almost every call I take from advisors, and Jeff, you can jump in here and tell me if, because you take a lot of calls too, Almost every call and email I receive about marketing sounds like this. I want marketing that doesn't cost more than a couple $100, that's guaranteed to work with no risk, that will get me in front of dozens of people that have lots of money. And by the way, they come in wanting to buy from me. So Steve, what would you say to somebody, what should I say to some advisor? And you're new to the, you come with a very realistic mindset to this business because you come from outside, you come from the business world. What would I say to an advisor who asked for that thing? You there?
Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck is right. Good luck. So, I mean, that's unrealistic. Just as Pete said with the client, we have to be realistic about what we want for ourselves. See, there is no marketing miracle. But here's the thing. There's lots of successful marketing out there, and all successful marketing has 6 common factors. It has the 6 principles of influence determined by Dr. Cialdini. They all have reciprocation, which means what? If I give you something, you feel the need to give me something back. Consistency. Consistency breeds trust. Consistency is the #1 characteristic of trust. Social proof. Hey, if he did it, it must be okay. Liking. If I'll buy from somebody who's just like me, or I'll buy from somebody who I like. Authority. I'm going to buy from somebody who knows what they're talking about. And scarcity. Boy, if I don't buy from this guy, I might never see him again. All successful marketing has these 6 characteristics. So let's look at the different types of marketing out there right now. Public speaking is the only one that does all 6 principles. Compared to public speaking, I think that's Steve, Missy. We're going to have to, we're not going to be able to, there's something going on there.
Yeah, I think he was rearranging a microphone there, but we'll, I've got him muted, so.
Okay. Public speaking, lead generation, postcards, radio, preset appointments, internet, and social networking. When it comes to reciprocation, where if I give you something, you give me something back, public speaking utilizes that because you're usually you're giving them a free quote-unquote show and you're giving them some sort of refreshment, so that's reciprocation. Preset appointments where somebody will make an appointment for you to take them out to a $50 steak dinner. Well, of course, that's reciprocation because you gave them a $50 steak dinner. And the internet, if you use it appropriately, where if you give them white papers or some sort of resource they can use, that can also have some level of reciprocation. Authority. There's nothing that states authority more than being up in front of a room and talking and speaking in public. That's about as authoritative as you can get. Radio also has some degree of authority. Scarcity. The only type of marketing out there that has scarcity is public speaking. Because there's no scarcity with lead generation postcards. There's no scarcity with radio. They know you're going to be on again next week. There's no scarcity with preset appointments because there's no scarcity with internet. You're there all the time. And social networking, there's no scarcity. Consensus. Having the guy next to you nod their head and say, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. Because when you've done an event, you know what? Everybody's having a good time, nodding, thinking you're smart. And they look around the room, and guess what? Everybody else is nodding and thinking you're smart. You can't get more consensus than that. You don't get that with lead generation postcards. They don't get a postcard and look around to their neighbors to see if the neighbors are getting the postcards and nodding their heads. Radio, they're at home watching it alone. They don't see what people are saying about you. Preset appointments, alone. Internet, alone. Social networking, you may get some consensus there because with social networking, you have other people saying, hey, this guy, you should check this guy's stuff out. So you do get some consensus there. Consistency. You get consistency with public speaking. You get consistency with radio, and you get consistency with internet. You don't get that with lead generation postcards, preset appointments, and social networking. Likability, you also get that with public speaking. They like the person up there if you do it right. And those of you who've done events have all said, wow, these people like me. So that's you get that in spades. Radio, you may get that. And social networking, you may get that. But as you look at this chart, what is the only thing that gives you all 6 principles of influence? So guess why when I'm recommending marketing, I recommend public speaking. And Jeff, you've talked to hundreds of guys, probably thousands of guys in the last 4 years. How many guys, of these marketing things, Jeff, what are the guys that are making big bucks doing?
Yeah, they're all doing seminars.
They are. Now, I know 2 guys that are making huge money with radio.
Yeah, I know someone who's making big bucks with radio, too.
How long has he been doing it?
How long? Well, he's been doing it a while, and he inherited the show from another guy, and so years, really.
Yeah, years. Because with radio, if you've been, I know 2 guys making huge money with radio. Both of them have been doing it for over a decade. Because and I talked to him. I said, guess how much money I asked him how much money did you make the first years. They said, oh no, I mean I lost thousands, tens of thousands of dollars the first 3 or 4 years I did this. It took many, many years for me to get to the point where I was making money with radio. So radio is great as long as you don't need to make money over the next 3 or 4 years, and you're willing to spend. Geez, one guy I talked to spent $65,000 last year and made nothing on radio. He spent $65,000 on radio, made nothing. So if you're willing to invest tens of thousands of dollars in the next 3 or 4 years to make nothing, yeah. Otherwise, the only other thing up here that makes guys huge money is seminars, public speaking, and it's not any of these other things. So I'm going to go to a study that was done by Rain Today, which is a entity that helps attorneys, CPAs, really any professional market. So they don't help retail people, they help professionals. And they did a study, the benchmark report on professional services marketing and selling from clients' perspective. They looked at the effectiveness of 27 different methods that clients use to find their advisors. Again, we're talking about professionals. We're talking about attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, real estate agents. We're talking about professionals. So the top 4 methods, Number 1, referrals from colleagues, families, and friends. Pete, is that surprising at all?
Not at all.
Not at all. 2, referrals from other service professionals. Is that surprising?
No.
No. Personal awareness, meaning that people know who you are. It's I guess another way to say personal awareness would be branding. And then number 4 is seminars. So out of the top 27 methods, the top 2 are referrals of one type or another. 3 is branding, and the 4th is seminars. So, and again, I put it here, go ahead and argue, but this study was done by an entity that has nothing to do with seminars. They had nothing to gain by saying seminars were the 4th best out of 27. But here's the thing, and Pete, I don't know how much you stay on top of all the marketing that other marketing organizations are offering to guys, but most of them are not offering referrals, personal awareness, or seminars. They've got all these other wild and crazy things going on, and I will go into that here in a second. But I want to go through how we address these top 4 methods. Referrals from colleagues, friends, and family. So the 5 key solutions for referrals from colleagues, friends, and family is we have a WOW office. So if you haven't seen that, guys, yet, we have a manual that will show you how to create a WOW office, an office that gives them a WOW experience for about $250. And we're not talking about marble on the floor. We're talking about things much more powerful than marble on the floor. So for $250, you're going to get people talking to their friends, neighbors, and relatives about you and your office. We have the 5Q USP. So if you guys have not yet put your 5Q USP in place, your elevator speech in place, or have not received our 5Q USP elevator statements that we give you when you come on board, contact support and we'll get you those 5 elevator statements that we put together, and these have been working fantastically well for all the guys that have been using them. Then we have the monthly newsletter and email that goes to your clients and warm prospects, and that also is designed to get referrals from colleagues, friends, and family. And then we have client events. We talked about last winter the Christmas tour event, and we talked about this summer about the barbecue for your clients. And so those are all things designed to get referrals from friends, colleagues, and family. Then we have the client advisory board. Remember we talked about this at the beginning of the summer, that one of the things you should be doing if you have clients this summer is what? Having client advisory boards. A client advisory board should average you about 9 to 11 referrals from every client advisory board you do. Okay, so that's how we have solutions set aside for the best way to get clients, which is referrals from friends, from colleagues, and families, and friends. And again, that 5Q USP elevator statement is the fulcrum of that. So how do we help you with referrals from other service professionals? Well, we have the CPA Attorney monthly newsletter that we give you to send out to your the CPAs and attorneys in your territory. We also coach you to introduce yourself to every single client, CPA, and attorney, and we give you a letter to do that. So every time you bring out a new client, the first thing you should be doing that next day is sending out that letter to their CPA and attorney. Then we have the property casualty system, which is a huge way to get referrals from other professionals. Personal awareness. We give you the letter to the editor every single month to send to your paper. We give you epidemic marketing. We give you breakfast clubs, client advisory boards, small business drip. These are all ways to brand yourself, and they don't cost an arm and a leg.
Mike,
and presented to a group, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are these all different than the client's IQ?
These are all different than the client's IQ. So that's a good question, Pete. Then if we're not communicating to you very well, if you don't understand that. Guys, on the 5Q site, and this is what I was coaching you to do all summer long, was get what going? I just talked to Casey, who's done a fantastic job of getting the epidemic marketing going. Guys, every single month we give you a letter to the editor to send your paper. Every single month we give you a paper newsletter to send to your clients. We give you a gift to send to your clients. We give you an email that is not on Client IQ. It's a different kind of email to send to your clients. We give you a letter to, or a newsletter to send to CPAs and attorneys. We give you a newsletter to send to your small business warm list. And then we give you Clients IQ, which gives you a different newsletter. So your clients actually receive 2 different newsletters from you, one paper, one digital. So we give you a ton of ways that cost you basically nothing in the scheme of things to be everywhere and anywhere in branding yourself. Then presenting to a group, we have 3 choices. We have dinner and a movie, which you can use with your clients for referral dinners. We have the Take Your Brain for a Jog, which we've been doing for over a year now, with an average attendance of 61 people. And then, as many of you might be aware of, last Tuesday we introduced the Social Security Workshop, which is about a 40-minute long workshop that's less expensive to market, quicker to do, and hits a whole different marketplace. So we give you actually 3 different choices to present in front of a group. So the study that we were just talking about is going to throw a lot of cold water on all the other current marketing miracles being offered by marketing gurus. Out of the 27 marketing methods, guess where online prospecting webinars came? 17 out of 27. So why do you think that might be the case, Pete, that online prospecting webinars for consumers would come out 17 out of 27? Way behind, way behind referrals and seminars.
There's no personal connection with
Yeah.
that stuff.
Out of those 6 principles of influence, how many are we hitting? All of them or few of them?
Few of them.
Few of them. How about lead generation postcards? Came in 19 out of 27. Why did that come in so low?
Surprised it came in at 19.
Exactly. But, you know, and Jeff, you can validate this. How often do we get questions about lead generation postcards?
Yeah, all the time. Guys are just hoping for, the thing is they're cheap.
Yeah.
So again, guys want that cheap thing that's going to bring in a bunch of people that are with lots of money, that are with their checkbooks in hand, and they're hoping this is it, but it's not.
And I do get people who read my blog say, well, Mike, you talk about postcards all the time. Here's how I talk about postcards, guys. I talk about postcards sending a series of 10 postcards to one person. So if I have, if I've got marketing money to send out 5,000 postcards, Pete, here's what I'd recommend. Do you think well, let me ask you, what do you think I'd recommend? Based on those 6 principles of influence, do you think I would rather, if I have just enough money to send out 5,000 postcards, do you think I would send out 5,000 postcards to 5,000 different people? Or do you think I would send out 10 postcards to 500 people about every 2 weeks in between?
I think you go for consistency.
Yes.
So you go to 10.
Because you build up likability, consistency, consensus. You can build up all those 6 principles of influence if you take those postcards and you send them to the same person over and over and over again, so it builds that trust. You start to build trust over time with them, with the postcards. You're far better off sending those 10 postcards to 500, which would be 5,000, than to 5,000 different people. But guess how everybody does postcards?
A blast.
5,000 to 5,000 different people. That's crazy. That's a waste of money. It comes in 19 out of 27. Being an author, I've seen this touted out there. Being an author came in 22 out of 27. Why do you think that's the case, Pete?
Again, there's no person connection. No person.
Yeah, there's no personal connection.
Personal
and also, what did we? I don't know if you remember this when you first came on, but I probably showed you a report from U.S. News and World Reports and the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. And we found out how much time does the average retiree spend learning per day? 1.3 minutes a day. So the only way they would read a book is if what?
If their life depended on it.
If their life depended on it. And if they're reading a book, is it about the kind of stuff that we write, or is it about some spy novel or romance novel or Shades of Grey?
It's fun stuff.
the fun stuff. So being an author does nothing, but guess all these other entities are out there touting these things. How about using social media? This cracks me up. 25 out of 27. Why? Now, I want to clarify this. Remember, this report, Pete, was on marketing for professionals, not marketing in general. So social media has worked fantastically for what kind of businesses?
I
think it's-
don't have the answer for that because I don't think it works at all. But
It has worked well for retail. It's worked well for people selling pet paraphernalia. It's worked well for bakeries. It's worked well for people. It's worked well for people selling things for how much money? Little money. Hey, Pete, I just saw this thing. I just, I sent. I don't have Facebook friends, but if I had a bunch of Facebook friends, hey, I just got this album from ABC Band. Guess what? Everybody, all my buddies, then go out and do. They go buy that album or whatever, right? It's showing my age when I say album, but so it worked for that kind of stuff. How many people do you know? If I put in my Facebook friends said, "Hey, I just got a great attorney," do you think all my friends would try to go out and get that attorney, Pete?
no.
Hey, my CPA just saved me a bunch of money. Do you think all my friends would go out and try to find that CPA? Do people find their doctors, their lawyers, their attorneys, their financial professionals through social media?
No.
No. They find how to buy paraphernalia and albums and sports gear and whatever else via, if it's cost $20 or $50, though, that works well for social media. Certainly doesn't work well but they're all out there touting it now. It's freaking hilarious. And here's the funny thing. Financial Advisor magazine in 2009, when they do surveys every year. In 2009, guess what percent? Well, you wouldn't. Oh, I don't have you guess. But in 2009, actually, 62% of advisors said that social media was important to their marketing. So in 2009, 62%, or advisors said 62% of advisors said social media was important to their marketing. So guess in 2011, 2 years later, guess how many said it was important?
Down to 20.
It was down to 14%. So why do you think in 2009 all of them said it was important?
Because that was the up-and-coming thing.
Yes, that was the up-and-coming thing, and how much did it cost to do?
0.
So, man, it's gonna take over the world, and it costs nothing. So this thing is gonna be. And then after 2 years, what did they find out? All the time and effort, even though it costs nothing, time is money. After they spent all that time and effort into it, what did they find out about social media? How many clients did they get from it?
No results.
But you know what? I still see these FMOs and marketing groups have big national meetings on what? Social media. And why do you think all the advisors just are looking for this marketing miracle? It's social media. Because it costs nothing. 25 out of 27 for professionals. How about radio? 26 out of 27. And here's the thing, Pete. When I got out of the Navy, my second job was selling radio advertising. And I was the top radio selling, for my station, I was the top radio salesperson for over a year. And then I quit. So if I was the top radio selling person for a year, why do you think I would quit?
I don't know.
Kind of weird,
why.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, because I could sell it, but guess what it didn't do for the people I sold it to?
Didn't work.
Didn't work. There's nothing like going out selling a $2,500 worth of radio advertising, going back to talk to that client and having the client say what?
Didn't work. I don't need your product.
So guess what I was doing every single week? Going back to the client base that I built up over a year?
Always finding new clients, weren't you?
That's a bit tiring, especially when I became less and less what about the product.
Enthused.
Enthused because I knew it didn't work. So I knew I was lying to anybody I sold it to. Now, does radio work? You know who radio works for? If you've got a bar and you got a happy hour tonight, do you think radio would work?
Yeah.
But think about this. When do most people listen to radio, Pete?
On the weekends.
When else? When does
In the
everybody listen to radio? In their car.
Yeah.
When have you ever pulled over the side of the road, scrambled in your glove compartment for a pen and paper so you could write down a phone number to call somebody? In your life?
Never.
Never? How about at home on the weekend? When you're working on the lawn or you're doing whatever and you're listening to the radio, when have you said, holy cow, dropped the hedge clippers, sprinted for the house to try to find a pen and paper to write down a phone number?
That's never happened either.
No. And do you know how many people it happens for? Nobody.
Nobody.
So guess why it's 26 out of 27 for professionals. But is it easy for me to say, hey, I'm down at the CJ's Lounge and we're having 2-for-1 happy hour tonight and blah, blah, and such and such a band is playing. Does that work? Yeah. Except if I'm looking for a good time, is it very hard for me to remember that CJ's Lounge, oh, I know where that is. Oh, 2-for-1. Oh, and this band. Sounds like a good band. Is it hard for me to remember that?
No. No.
But when a professional, a CPA attorney or a financial advisor tries to advertise on the radio and say, yes, I have interesting ways to save you in taxes, and you should call my number. It's 1-800-755-3421. Really? You going to remember that? So why do you think people are glomming onto this radio thing?
Because it gives you celebrity.
Yeah.
It gives you people get the name recognition.
And it also gives you hope. It's something new and different. See, but you don't want to buy hope. You want to buy something that's what? Proven. Now, the only reason I put this here is everybody says, well, what was 27 out of 27? It was blogging. Blogging doesn't work for professionals. So top 4 methods, referrals from colleagues, families. Does 5Q deal with that, Pete?
Yes.
How about referrals from other service professionals? Do we have ways to do that?
Yes.
And personal brand awareness, do we have that?
Yes, we do.
And then all the people I've talked to, because you know what, I wish that all we need to do is referrals from colleagues, friends, and families, referrals from other professionals, and it will start to get to the point. I would tell you the year that I quit my business, so the year that I stopped my business, I did no marketing whatsoever, and I made $352,000, and that was all from referrals. So you can build up a big referral machine, but it takes some time to do that, doesn't it? Can you start a business? If you're starting from ground zero, how hard is it going to be to build your business on referrals? At least to a business where you're making $500,000 or more a year. Ain't going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
But I can tell you what, you can start from ground zero with public speaking and get to a point where you're making over $500,000 a year very, very easily. So we've got two of the big choices. We have fire, floods, and taxes, which you can use for small group meetings with your clients. But the two big choices we have now is take your brain for a jog, and we have Social Security. And we're coming into the primary. I shouldn't say the primary. The secondary, the second most important marketing time of the year, September and October. So this is what you should have scheduled for the fall. I don't care if you do a Social Security event or you do a Take Your Brain for a Jog event. You do 3 of those, 3 of the other, or 6 because you're doing 3 of each. But you need to have 3 scheduled in September and October. And the reason so you see the calendar we'd recommend here. So why do you think, Pete, that we have it scheduled all the way down to 19th and 20th to have your first event in September?
Because people were maybe gone for Labor Day?
Yes, Labor Day. We want the invites to hit. We don't like invites to hit before the holiday. Because what do people tend to forget during the holiday? Anything they got prior to the holiday. So the reason it's the 19th, 20th, I'd rather have it sooner, but we don't want the invites to hit until after Labor Day. So in order for that to happen, we'd have to have the events on the 19th and the 20th. Okay? And then do you see where we have the yellow box that says first appointment? So if you have your events on 19th and 20th, you should be having your first appointments on the 21st and 24th. Why? If possible. It's not always possible. I mean, you've just done events, so you know that they don't always work out that way, but you should be trying for that. Why? Oops.
The longer it goes, the less enthusiasm they have.
Yes. Your show rates will drop off exponentially the further you go away from those dates. Then we have the next one in October, and then the following 2 weeks after that, we have another one in October. So why did we put those two together so close together? It was because we need that third one. We need to be hitting so that you have time, because you could actually do one in the middle of November and have a lot of people show up. What's the problem with that, though?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and what's the problem with Thanksgiving?
Everybody, you're into family now, and
Yes. So you can get, let's say you got 61 people into the event, but then you don't make any money from that, do you?
no.
You make money when you close those people, right?
Yeah.
So if you have it in the middle of November and then you have Thanksgiving come up, what happens to your first, second, and third meeting process?
It gets
fouled up.
interrupted.
Yeah, it gets interrupted. In the same way, the same thing happens with your first, second, and third meetings, that the longer that's dragged out, the higher the probability of a sale or the lower the probability of a sale?
Lower.
Lower. Because you'll find, and Jeff, you and I have experienced this a lot through the guys where they'll say, you know, I did a second meeting, but I didn't see them again for 6 weeks. What should I do? And what do you tell them?
There's not a lot you can do.
Do the second meeting over again.
Yeah, you have to do it all over again. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they've forgotten.
Yep. So you want to get that squeezed in before Thanksgiving. Now, I've had guys do events in around Thanksgiving and in December, and they've had a ton of people show up. It's not a problem getting people to show up to the event. It's a problem with closing them afterwards. Now, I've had some guys who were Jewish and whose primary clientele was Jewish. They had banner Decembers because they don't, you know, it doesn't the whole Christmas thing doesn't really affect them nearly as badly. In fact, they love doing it because nobody else is doing events, so they love doing events in December. But for most people, you don't want to get mixed up in that Thanksgiving, Christmas debacle. So you should be doing some house cleaning, seeing your family, doing family things, and then doing client appreciations and client visitation during that month of December, rather than spending your marketing dollars for the most part. So you need to be doing September and October is your primary here coming up. And if you don't do things September, October, that means basically you just went through summer. And Pete, how much money do most advisors make during the summer? Is that a hot 3 months or a slow 3 months?
No, it's a slower 3 months.
Okay, so it's a slower 3 months. So that means if we're not hitting the ground running in September, and we start to think, oh, we better get something going in September, so we'll only get one thing in October. That means we have one marketing piece for 6 months. What's that going to do to the average advisor's income?
It's going to sabotage it.
It's going to sabotage. It's going to clobber it. So, guys, you need to be, in order to have events in September 19th, when do you need to, well, Missy, this is a good question for you. When had they better have this discussion with Tom DeGroot or Steve Kolodner, whichever marketing company they want to use? When had they better have that conversation?
You better be talking to them by the first week in August.
So, guys, you need to be planning this out and having these things put in place at least by the first week of August, so that you make sure you can have your event by the 19th or 20th. Because if you wait until the 26th or you wait until the 2nd of October, you've just eliminated what? One of your events, 1/3 of your marketing for the fall and winter.
Mike,
So
I've
you
got a
need-
couple of good
Yes, please.
questions that came in
Great.
too. So
Good.
when is a good time to schedule the Social Security timing? Should that be scheduled in lieu of the Take Your Brain or in addition to them?
That's a great question. So, just to kind of as a refresher from last Tuesday, the difference between the Take Your Brain for a Jog and the Social Security is this: they both have advantages and they both have disadvantages. The Social Security is going to be generally cheaper to do because, at least at this point, it looks like you may not have to feed them, and you can go to a place that's maybe cheaper to do it in, like a library or a community college or something, or a town hall or something like that. You could do it, and you're going to be after the 59 to 63-year-olds. So it's going to cost you less, but you're going to get in front of less people. The Take Your Brain for a Jog is going to cost you more, but you're going to get in front of more people. So if I was in business, what I would be doing is I'd be doing both, because the 59 to 63-year-old that the Social Security goes after, those people will not show up at a Take Your Brain for a Jog, nor will the Take Your Brain for a Jog people show up at the Social Security. So it's two totally different marketplaces. So I'd be doing both. Now, everybody's not me. Not everybody's as aggressive as I am. So some people are going to say, I want to get in, do big events, so I want to Take Your Brain for a Jog. And some people are going to say, I want to do small events, I'm going to do the Social Security. Just know that Social Security is going to provide you probably about a third of the amount, getting in front of the amount of people, and about a third of the income, but it's also going to cost you probably a third of what Take Your Brain for a Jog costs you. So there's no really good answer there. It's expectations. If I want to make a lot of money, I'm going to do both. If I want to make a medium amount of money, I'm going to do Take Your Brain for a Jog. If I want to make a good living, I'm going to do Social Security. I don't know. Does that answer the question for the gentleman that asked that, Missy, or the gal that asked that?
Yes, I believe it does.
Okay. So some people are going to do both. Some people are going to do just Take Your Brain for a Jog. Some people are going to do just Social Security. Some people are going to do 3 Take Your Brain for a Jogs and 1 Social Security. I mean, it depends on you, but the expectations are Social Security will cost you about a third as much and make you about a third as much, and Take Your Brain for a Jog will cost you 3 times as much and make you about 3 times as much. You're going to have to decide where you fall in that spectrum.
The other question that came in was, would there be a way to drip on the holiday attendees in order to keep them in touch?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're just going to do that with the we remember when they come to an event, they're already automatically put onto an 8-piece drip, right? And even though it's in the email, you could very easily, if you don't capture their email, turn that into a letter drip for them as well, if you wanted to. So you could do that. It's just not, guys, we all have a finite number or amount of money to market. So I don't spread my marketing dollars evenly over the year. I pile my marketing dollars into January, February, and March, and September, October. I pile all my marketing dollars into those 5 months. And then I leave a little left over to spread out over the remaining months. But if I want to go if I want to go hunting for bear, do I go hunting for bear in January, Pete?
No,
Why not?
not the season.
They're sleeping and hibernating, right? How many bear am I going to see?
None.
None. But inevitably somebody say, well, once in February I saw a bear. Well, yes, but is that typically when you see a bear?
No.
No. So if I'm going to be, if my wife says I'm only going to give you 1 month to go hunting for bear, which month am I going to go hunting for bear? January or September?
September.
Yeah. So you can do events, and I've had guys, and Jeff, we've had guys do events every single month, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely we have.
In fact, all the guys that have made $1 million or more were doing events every single month.
Right.
But they admittedly said they were making about half as much during the off months as they were making during the full months.
Right.
And Pete, if you're starving in January, you're still going to go out and do what? Hunt. In the hopes that heck I'm going to. So the fact is that if you want to, you can. But if you've got only so much time available or so much money available, you want to invest that time or money when you're likely to see a bear or not likely to see a bear. Likely to see a bear. And the likeliest times we're going to have big returns on our investment are January, February, March, and then September and October. And inevitably, Jeff, don't we find some people that say, oh, geez, I'm sorry, I tried, I don't know what got on, the time went by, I didn't know it's now October 30th, what should I do? And what do we have to tell them?
You're going to have to wait till January. I mean, you can
like,
do...
Oh, please. Yeah, go ahead, Jeff, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you can do some ancillary things like we talk about, but, you're only going to get a very small return. And it, like we talked about, most of those people, you're not even going to be able to pull through the entire appointment process until after January anyway.
And you flushed your money. So here's the thing, guys. Events, you should be looking at minimum about a $20,000 to $24,000 profit. Maximum or high end, you should be looking at $54,000 to $60,000 of profit. All the ancillary methods that we give you, the client advisory boards and all those kind of things, they're not going to give you $20,000 to $60,000 of income. The only thing that's going to give you that are events. So all the other stuff we give you, you know what? They're going to give you, decent incomes. I mean, if you're doing those ancillary things, 3 or 4 of those ancillary things, you're going to bring in $10,000, $15,000 during those slow months. But you're not going to bring in the $20,000 to $60,000. So you got to be doing them during the hot period, September, October, and you need to start, as Missy said, you need to start planning that and getting those in place the first week of August. If you don't, it's not going to happen. I mean, you're going to lose a third. Guys, if you miss just one of these events, that means you've lost a third of your income for the next 6 months. If you miss 2, you miss 2/3 of your income. So, Pete, why did you come on? What do you expect from me as your coach at 5Q?
I came to 5Q because I needed the guidance. I needed the tools and the systems, and you know, I'm here to follow the instructions that I'm given.
Yeah, and should I just give you the instructions and then say, well, hope things go well, Pete. See you later. Is that what a coach does? Or is that what a good coach does?
No, a coach provides the guidance.
Yes, and the guidance means that he follows up and says, okay, Pete, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Does he do that?
The accountability, yeah.
Yeah, the accountability for the guys that want it. So, guys, just so you know, over the next couple weeks, Tricia is going to be scheduling appointments for you and I to talk. And, Pete, what would you guess that you and I are going to be talking about?
When my events are.
Yes. And not only when your events are, but how we're going to be preparing for those events. How prepared are you for the first meeting? How prepared are you for the second meeting? And, guys, I will have as many training. If you guys want additional trainings just on the first meeting or just on set, Jeff and I are more than happy to have all the training you guys need so that you feel you're fully prepared for these things. But my assumption is when you came on to 5Q, it was because you came on to make more money or less money, Pete?
I came on to make a boatload.
And did you happen to get the magic wand that I sent you in the mail that you can wave around and make a lot of money?
Yeah, I haven't gotten that yet.
Yeah, you haven't gotten that. Well, the fact is the way that everybody on the system, guys, none of you got the magic wand. I know we all want the magic wand, but it does not exist. There is no magic wand. The magic is we have 10 years of experience of taking guys from making $150,000 to $200,000 a year and doubling and quadrupling and quintupling their income over 1, 2, and 3 years when they do the events and they follow the first meeting and the second meeting process. Jeff, is there any other way that we've had guys magically make a bunch of money?
No.
But the guys that have done that, not the guys that have done the marketing, but the guys that have done the marketing and the first and second meeting, how have they done?
They've done great. I mean, I can't think of a single person that put the time in and did the meetings that didn't have some success. Maybe not making $1 million a year, but making $500,000-600,000 a year.
Double or triple what they were making.
Right.
And these are guys that have been doing the same thing for 25 years, and all of a sudden, magically, there is magic here, guys. There is a system that works magic. To take somebody who's been in the business 25 years and double his income in a year, I think that's pretty magical. But anything that's magical like that takes some elbow grease. And we've all heard this before, Pete. Have you ever heard successful people do what unsuccessful people what?
Are not willing to do.
Are not willing to do. So please, when Tricia calls to schedule that meeting, set it up. If you can't do these events, still set it up and tell me why. I'll work with you. You came on to be successful. Let's make sure you're successful. You came on for coaching, so let me coach you. You came on for ideas on how all the guys that have made $1 million a year or double or triple their income have done that. Let me teach you how they've done that. But I cannot stress enough, you need to have this stuff in place by the 1st of August, because that's the only way you're going to be able to have the 3 events in October. And I don't really care. If you want to do Take Your Brain for a Jog, super. If you want to do the Social Security, super. But have 3 events. If you want to do some of each, super. If you want to do more, super. But you need to have at least 3 of these events scheduled. And we will bust our behinds to help you do that if you're willing to do the same on your end. Okay? So I hate to have these types of meetings where I'm harping at you and getting on the soapbox, but that's why you hired me, and I don't want you to be in the middle of September and then I talk to you and you say, well, I don't really have anything scheduled yet. And you're like, oh my gosh, that means we can't schedule anything until January. No, get it scheduled on the calendar for September, and you have to start doing that by August, okay? So again, we've talked about why you need to do that. So any other questions or comments from people, Missy?
I have a long one here, so let me just, I was trying to read through it and see. Okay, there was another question about Social Security presentation. Is it ancillary or core? It is ancillary. And what about fires, floods, and taxes? Is that a core marketing part, or is that ancillary as well?
Okay, so fire, floods, and taxes is a fantastic little half-hour presentation that I love, but it's built for very small groups because of the logistics of it. So it's great if you have three of your client couples and they bring 3 friends, and we have a letter that helps you do that. So it's great for creating referrals by having your 3 best clients and their friends come to a dinner and you do the fire, floods, and taxes. Or you have Rotary groups say, hey, we'd like you to speak. It's a great one to do at Rotary Group because it's short, sweet. It's great for small presentations for people that are already warm. The Social Security we've designed because it's for a different marketplace. It's for the 59 to 63-year-old. It's costs a third as much. So like I said, you're going to make a third as much as well. But there are some guys at this point that are not as fluid as they'd like to be financially, and they're not able to do a Take Your Brain for a Jog. Well, then they should be doing a Social Security, and so they can use that money to build up their bank account so they can get to a point where they can do a Take Your Brain for a Jog and start getting into big ticket amounts. So the Social Security is ancillary, but some guys are going to be using it as their primary, as their stepping stone to get up to the point where they're able to do Take Your Brain for a Jogs. And I already have talked to several guys who plan on doing both of them. They're like, fantastic, 2 different marketing places. That means I can market to twice as many people and make twice as much money. So that's obviously where everybody wants to get at some point in their career. But some people can't afford it now. They should be doing at least Social Security events. People who can afford it should be doing Take Your Brain for a Jog, and the people who are ambitious should be doing both. Any other questions, Missy? Yeah.
What are your thoughts on doing the Social Security presentation to groups in the workplace or groups like associations? Of course, the companies would have to be larger in order to be able to target the individuals that are 55 to 63. The number may be smaller, but possibly a higher conversion average?
That's always the, Jeff, you can hop in your one. That's always the holy grail, right? Having a company endorse you and have you, and I think you'd agree, Jeff. If you can do it, fantastic. But spending a lot of time chasing it, Jeff, what would you say if somebody's going to spend a whole bunch of time cold calling all these companies to try to get them to do it?
Yeah, I wouldn't waste my time. I mean, that's epidemic marketing. That's something that you can work on, but you don't want to do that in September and October.
No, do it during.
That's something you can do in November and December.
Yeah, or during the summer.
Yep.
Yeah, so go chase those companies during the down times. But during the hot times, get in front of people, and you know what? Doing a bunch of planning to I think it's a fantastic idea, and Jeff, I think you echoed that. It's a fantastic idea. It's just that it's epidemic. It's dripping. You don't know when that elephant's going to fall in your lap, and hoping the elephant's going to fall in your lap is not a marketing plan. So if you've got a person that you know in human resources, absolutely leverage that. If you know the CEO or CFO of a company that will get you in, absolutely leverage that. But going out and cold calling on these companies right now is non-productive. Do that in June and July. Do that in November and in December. Don't do it during the productive months we have coming up. After that, absolutely, that's a fantastic thing to be doing, but not during your primary months, because what's going to happen is you're going to spend all your time chasing those companies September, October with nothing to show for it. Because, guys, that's an elephant. I mean, let's face it. If we could all get in front of the big companies and do these types of presentations, we do it all day long, right? It's just a very difficult thing to do unless you've got connections or you just are a very lucky person. And some people have connections and some people are lucky. So they should go out and do it. But don't do it during your primary months. Do it during the down months. Does that make sense? So great idea. Just time it correctly. Any other questions, Missy?
Nope, that was all the questions.
So guys, I hate getting on my soapbox with this type of mentality, but you've hired me to make more money. You've hired me to coach you, and you've all agreed that you wanted me to keep you accountable when you came on board. You all said that you wanted me to, you were going to tape your meetings, that you were going to be on the meetings, the Monday calls and the monthly calls. You all said you were going to do that because you knew that was going to make you more money. Well, this is where the rubber meets the road. We're coming into the most productive 2 months in the next half of the year. If you miss them, you're missing out on 6 months of income. So please, when Tricia calls, accept that call and be prepared to talk to me about what your marketing plan is for September and October. I'm not doing the, Pete, do you think I'm doing this to be mean?
No.
Why am I doing it?
No, I sincerely believe you want us to be successful.
Well, Pete, you and I have worked one-on-one for the last 2 months, haven't we?
We have.
So guys, Pete is the poster child for what people are supposed to do when they come on the system. He came on the system. He says, Mike, I want to make sure my first event is successful. Can I work with you? I said, sure. So we've been meeting every Friday for an hour trying to make sure that these events are going to be successful. That's what you should be doing. That's what I thought all of you were coming on board for. But Pete's the exception, not the rule. Let's all learn from Pete's example, and let's start tapping into Jeff, tapping into myself, so that we can get you as successful as you want to be. And you know what? If you call up and say, Mike, I only want to make this much a year, so what should I do? I'll help you. If maybe you're only going to do one event in the next 2 months, that's fine. At least then we all know your expectations, and we know that how we're going to meet them or not meet them. I'm not going to harp on you. You have to do this. But I am going to try to hold you accountable and say, okay, what do you expect from the next 6 months? Here's what we need to do to get that. So if you only want to make $30,000 over the next 6 months, what would I tell them, Jeff?
That's fine.
That's fine.
Let's just put together a plan to make sure that you make $30,000 over the next 6 months, and let's stick to it.
Maybe that's only one event. Somebody else is going to say, Mike, I want to make $150,000 over the next 6 months. Another guy's going to say, I want to make $300,000 over the next 6 months. We're going to set up a plan for you to do that. But the plan is going to contain the months of September, October. Those are the primary months. So please, when Tricia gives you a call, please set that up so we can start working together. Jeff and I are here to help, and I don't think a lot of you have been using us as much as you could, or and I don't know if it's because you're not used to an FMO who's willing to help you this much, that you're not used to people who are willing to coach you this much. You're not bothering us. That's why we're here. We're here to make you a lot of money so we can make a lot of money. So don't look at those calls as being, oh, I don't really want to bother Jeff. I don't really want to bother Mike. Those are not bothersome calls. That's what we're here to do, okay? So again, thank you for putting up with my ranting and raving for the last hour. Thank you, Pete, for being on the call and for taking advantage of everything that 5Q has to offer. And please, guys, let's talk in the next couple of weeks and really set up a close relationship so we can make you the kind of money you want to make. That's why we're here. Anything else, Missy? She's gone already.
Nope, that's everything.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful week and hope to talk to you soon. Take care.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Pete.